Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone who is tuning in today is doing super fantastic. Today, we have a special guest, founder of Korai and fellow tall girl, Kathryn Aposhian. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi, India. How are you?
I'm doing good. Please tell me I got your last name right.
You nailed it.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Okay. I was a little scared. I was a little scared. How are you doing today, though?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to be joining you today. I love your show, so I am honored to be a part
Ah,
of it.
I'm so hyped. Oh my gosh. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, I will. I am Kathryn Aposhian. I am the CEO and founder of Korai. We make bodysuits for women with long torsos. I grew up and currently live in Los Angeles and went to school here. I am Armenian, as exhibited by my crazy last name, and I'm very proud of it. And finally, I am 5'9". So, like you said, fellow tall girly. And I love being 5'9". And yeah, so that's me.
You know, you're like the first guest that I've had here that has been shorter than me.
Really?
Yes, because most of the people are like over 6 feet. And then there
Yeah.
was one that was in the fives, but I think she was like a half inch taller than me or around the same height as me. I don't remember, but you're the one that's like truly shorter than me.
Oh
So you
man,
may have set
breaking
a
new
record.
ground.
You may literally have set a record, but I mean, you're still
Yes.
tall because the average height of a woman, well, in America, because we both in America, is
Yes.
5'4", I think. So,
That short?
yeah. When I saw that, I was a
Wow.
little bit confused. I was like, but then again, we both live in big cities, so I guess a lot of
Right.
diversity. Most of the people here are like different heights, different sizes, so we're kind of used to being around taller people. I don't know. But when I looked it up,
Totally.
it said 5'4". I was like, what? What's going on here? So,
How funny.
so you're technically above average, so you're still
Man.
tall.
So part of the crew. I love it.
So let's unpack, let's get into it. I want to hear about your experiences growing up as a tall woman. You said you loved being 5'9". Was that always the case when you were younger? I want to know a little bit about it. Let's go. Let's get into
Totally.
it.
Let's get into it. So I was so excited to hear this question because I have never really given it a lot of thought up until now. And I feel like I was able to reframe a lot of my experiences as positive ones. So I'm going to tell you three experiences that I had growing up that I guess sort of shaped me and sort of brought me to my concept of who I am as a tall girl.
Yeah.
So the first one is so I went to an Armenian day school from kindergarten to second grade. And in kindergarten, my parents had to sit down with my teachers because there was a discussion whether or not I would be held back in school or not.
Oh.
And the reason being was that I was younger
Mm,
than all of the other students in my class. I was, at that cutoff. I think my birthday was in November and everybody else was older than me.
yeah, that makes
Um, they were having this discussion, and the way my parents tell the story is that, these Armenian teachers with their like accents are like, you know what? She's tall. You keep her going. And when I hear this story, when I've heard this story over the last, years of my life, I always thought it was in the context of not me being smart enough to go forward,
Yeah,
but just because of my height.
yeah.
Now I'm thinking it was more of a social decision. Like
Mm,
if I were to have been with kids that were my age, I would have been taller than all of those kids, as
yeah,
opposed to being in the class with kids I would probably be at the same height or like close to the same height.
yeah.
So I'm I like have reframed that and thinking maybe socially that was a choice that they made
Yeah.
because of my height. So that was sort of fun to kind of think through as
Yeah.
an exercise. Um, and so the next two experiences, and I'm going to flip them because the
Mhm.
last one will move right into my business, which I'm excited to talk about. So I also wasn't really aware of my height again until I got to college.
Mm,
And the reason being is that from middle school to high school, I went to an all girls school.
okay.
And I feel like girls' schools, obviously you have your issues. You could be the girls can be catty, all this stuff. But
Yeah, of course.
I felt like I had a really supportive community there. And in fact, my closest friends from high school were my height or even taller. Like one of my
Oh,
closest friends
wow.
is 6'2",
Oh my
from high
God.
school. So I felt like I found my community in middle school, high school, which I feel like is such a scary time for when you're growing,
Yeah,
obviously,
of
and you
course.
are going through all these feelings and all these
Yeah, that's like
hormones,
peak insecurity time.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm so grateful for having such a positive experience throughout that time. And again, wasn't really aware of it until I got to college where I'm now interacting with guys. And I just remember thinking like that first week of school, I'm like, most of the guys are a foot like I'm like most of the guys are like a foot shorter than me. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oh
Like,
dear.
why is this? What is going on? Um, and so that was a realization. But again, like I did in high school, I found my community in college. Like my best friend is 5'11". Like all of our friends are either 5'8" and above. So again, I gravitated towards those women. Like obviously we were like-minded and love them, but there was something about, I guess, something about those tall women that you
Mhm.
understand each other. You have
Yeah.
these shared experiences. And in fact, like the guys in our class would call us the tall girl group, which I
The
come to
tall girl
learn.
group.
Uh-huh.
I
Like
mean,
literally like the tall girls.
that kind of has a ring to it. It could be like the TGG, tall girl.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. We just a little TLC, like no
Literally.
stress.
That's like the name of a band of tall women, tall
Right?
musicians. Just start like a full-on band. That's crazy
Totally.
though. That is
Totally.
crazy though.
So the third experience I want to talk about is my whole life, I have been told I have a swimmer's body.
Oh dear.
And I'm like, I- random people. And it was
Yeah.
never like one experience. It was enough to be told that it was like,
What
why
the
does
heck?
this keep happening to me?
Literally.
Right. I'm like, swimmer's body. It's like kind of a bizarre thing. First of all, bizarre thing to say to anyone, first of all.
Exactly.
Um, so at one point I like asked my mom, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what are these people saying to me? She's like, well, like you have a long torso. And so a lot of people associate swimmers with having long torsos.
Yes, that's
And I
interesting.
Yeah, so I don't like Michael Phelps, for example, like if you look at his torso, it's super long. So
Wow.
ladies, look that up. Michael Phelps, super long torso. Um, so I've always been told this my whole life, right?
Hmm.
And I after I graduated school, I ended up going into public relations in the healthcare space. So worked in pharma, worked in biotech, and did that for 10, 12 years. And it wasn't until the pandemic
Hmm.
that I thought back to that comment of, well, you have a swimmer's body, because I was looking for bodysuits online. And I'm like, oh, I want to find a longer torso bodysuit because obviously, I need something that fits. And I kid you not, I went to every imaginable bodysuit boutique online and I ordered a bunch of bodysuits, none fit.
Wow.
Not even close. Like would not I'd like these like really drag
Pulling
them
it down.
pulling it down like
Yo.
the wedgies
Oh
were
dear. Oh dear.
yeah, we're going in. We're going in. It was out of control. And so I was like, why doesn't this exist? How does this not exist? And so that's the point in which I thought of Karai. So it's it's been obviously that it started with that comment,
Yeah.
but it really sort of led into, well, if there's a need, if I'm experiencing that need, then there must be other women
Other
out there that
people.
are
Yeah.
experiencing the same thing. So yeah, so that's kind of my tall girl experiences culminated now in Korai, which is something that I'm just super proud of and am excited to continue growing.
Oh my gosh. Well, you brought up 2 points. Number one, you are like the prime example as to the fact that you don't necessarily have to have long legs to be tall. Because, I like to think of you're tall for 3 reasons: long legs, which is probably the most popular,
Right.
long torso, which is where you come in, and then long neck. I'm still waiting to meet the person that has the long neck, but
Yeah.
I
Oh,
have
that would be
met the
interesting.
person. I have met the person that has a long torso. So thank you
There
for
you go.
that, number one.
You're welcome.
And number two, I also like how you brought up that when you were talking about, TGG, the tall girl group, that having that sense of community in a way is like extremely helpful because, at least when you were growing up, like in middle school and high school, you went to all girls school, you were at least surrounded by other women who are like around your height and taller. So you didn't necessarily feel like you were out of place. You didn't feel like you stuck
Right.
out. You didn't feel like a sore thumb. Whereas many of us, me included, I was literally the tallest all throughout from third grade to eighth grade. And in high
Right.
school, I was still one of the taller ones. And
Right.
me having these complaints about my height, it's like finding clothes or I don't know, like hitting my head in doorways or stuff like that. Like people just
Totally.
wouldn't understand. They would look at me like, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? But I feel like with you having a group of girls who are around your height, and like you said, one of your best friends is like 6'2",
Right.
I feel like it just makes the experience a lot easier and a lot more manageable because there's just that sense of relatability and shared experiences, as you said before.
100%. And that's why I love you and what you're doing because it's creating that, right? It's
Yeah,
creating that community of women who have felt other, but they're not. They're a part of this group. They are part of this community that has the same shared experience. So,
exactly.
yeah,
And we feel less alone and feel a lot less, for lack of a better term, dumb, because there are people out there who will, even on social media, make comments or even in real life make comments, make it seem like, oh, they're like downplaying our struggles. Like, oh, it's not that
right.
deep. It's not that serious, where it's kind of like, it kind of is. It has impacted my self-esteem for my entire 21 and a half years of existence. So
Totally.
yeah, it's
Totally.
pretty deep, but it's pretty serious.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
100%.
So I
100%.
really like that idea of having that community where we're gonna talk about with your business now, because it's not even just a community of tall women or tall people, because I think that anybody can really have a long torso in comparison to the rest of their body.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit more about your business itself, like what you
Sure.
sell, where it is, where do you envision it in the future? Any other
Yes.
like sneak peeks of products that aren't released yet, but maybe kind of, I don't know. Like,
Who
let us
knows? Who knows?
know. Let us know.
I will. I will. So Karai, we started about a year and a half ago officially. We are starting really small. We have 4 different bodysuits on the website. And each bodysuit comes in 2 different colors. So we have a wrap style bodysuit, a long sleeve, a puff sleeve, which I'm actually wearing
Oh
today,
my gosh.
and a tank top. So wanted to try and kind of to start really, give a range of like styles that we would be able to present on the website. And getting to that point, I will say has been a challenge and quite the journey. Like I said, my background's in public relations. I have zero fashion experience.
Mm.
So when I started the brand, I kid you not, I went on Google and I was like, how do you write a business plan for a fashion business? And search. And then I was like, how do you find a manufacturer? Send.
But I mean,
Um,
that's how it starts. That's how it always starts.
totally.
At least you were actually trying to find the answer.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
hey,
And the age in which we're living, I mean, how lucky are we that we're able to like search
exactly.
online
On
and
Google.
find like anything and
Hmm.
everything about how to start a business and how to make it successful. So
Yeah.
I give credit to Google for a lot of this, but it's been also finding the right partners to come up with the designs. For example, we've had some amazing designers that have helped bring these to life. We've had an incredible partner in a manufacturer that's actually based here in Los Angeles, which I'm really proud of to say that we manufacture here in the United States, and I
Yeah.
get to interface with them. I get to learn from them. I get to be close to the process,
Hmm.
which again, for me, who's an outsider coming into the industry, has been invaluable. I obviously the branding has been a big part of what we are all about. Uh, Korai, the word is actually a Greek word. It refers to ancient Grecian female statues.
Oh,
So all you art history buffs might recognize it, but it's got this sort of strong feminine feel, and I just love that idea of it just being confident, feminine, and out there. So that's kind of what the name invokes for me, at least.
that's so
And
cool.
yeah, and so ultimately, and most recently, actually, we partnered with tallsize.com, who has been incredible. I don't know if I'm sure your listeners are familiar with them, but if they're not, they exclusively sell women's clothing for tall women. And they are also selling our bodysuits as well, in addition to our website. So shout out to them. As I said, they've just been a fabulous partner, and we've been able to interact with a bunch of other people because of them. So we love them.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank
That's like a
you.
big
Thank you.
accomplishment, especially in just like a year and a half to get in like a big, I guess you could say tall retailer like that. Like that's awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, by the way.
No, no, I appreciate it. I really do. It's like I said, it's been such a journey that having someone else along with me on the journey has been fun in the last several months. So where do I see it going? I'm just really excited to continue just growing the brand bit by bit, like
Yeah.
tackling, blocking and tackling and seeing where the comments and the feedback are and applying them to the bodysuits. Right now we're in a little bit of a holding pattern with coming out with new designs, but I think in the next several months, as we kind of continue to sell through like our current inventory, we're then going to really kind of crank up the different types of things that people want and are excited for and want to wear. Obviously, with winter coming up, I'm excited for people to check out our long sleeve bodysuit
Yeah.
um, uh, and yeah, I mean, we're looking to continue to grow the business. You know, it would be great ultimately to get in-person retail at some point. You know, my dream would be in a Nordstrom's at some point.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I mean, I think there are venues and there are places for this type of item. You know, I think
Yeah.
there's a movement now that's really catering to very specific sizing needs, and you're
Mm,
seeing these brands that are coming out um, that are addressing those needs.
yeah.
So we're one of them. Um, you know, there are obviously other great brands that, you know, Pepper, for example, like they sell like A and double A cup bras that fit, and that's
Yeah.
all they sell. You know, so these
Yeah. For
really
like a
niche,
particular market.
right,
Yeah.
right, that are serving this group that has otherwise not been served. So that's what we're all about when it comes to the long torso community. Um, so yeah,
That
that's
is so
it.
that is so interesting actually. I like wanted to ask, I don't know if it's a weird question, but
Bring it.
just like with uh pants or jeans, for example, we talk in terms of like inseams, and for tall women it's usually like 34 maybe, but 35 inch and above.
Yeah,
So how does that like work for torsos? Like, does
I'm
that question
so
make sense?
glad you
Does that question make sense? I
totally,
don't know.
totally, and I'm so glad you asked. So So there are several ways that you can measure your torso. The way that we've established it is basically it's called creating a torso loop. So if you have like a fabric measuring tape, what you would do is you would basically start at kind of the edge of like where your shoulder and your neck meet.
Hmm.
Put the start of the tape measure there. You then put it through your legs and then back up to the top to meet
Oh.
this point. And so you take that measurement, and that's like I said, is called a torso loop. So that measurement would be how long your torso is. So what I've found is that women who have a 45-inch or below um, torso length tend to have a shorter torso.
Mm.
Uh, Anywhere from 45 inches to 60 inches tends to be kind of where you would find like a standard bodysuit size and standard torso sizing. 60 inches and above, definitely on the longer torso side.
Oh.
So I will tell you, I have a 69-inch torso.
Oh my gosh.
Super
Wow.
long, super long. And it, you know, it's so funny. I harkening back to my high school days, I vividly remember sitting next to my friend who was 6'2". We were the same height seated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of the
So
long
that is how
torso.
short my legs are. But you know, but it's pretty remarkable to think about. But yeah, anywhere from 60 and above. So our bodysuits serve up to, I think we go up to about 74 inches.
Wow.
It's still very, very long, very long. Um,
Oh
yeah,
my, I've literally never heard of this. I know because never in my life would I have thought to measure my torso. It's always
yeah.
been measure your inseam, measure your legs, make sure you know how long your pants need to be. But I know, well, then again, I do have a relatively short torso compared to the rest of my body, but I've like never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I have a little YouTube short video that shows how you can do it yourself. I measure one of our models' torsos to kind of exhibit like hers. I think hers was like 60 inches. Um so we're trying to educate as much as we can about torsos and how to measure torsos and what they're all about.
This is great because if I didn't know this, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know that either. Oh my gosh. You're awesome. You're awesome.
You're
Um,
awesome.
I do want to get into the last question.
Sure.
So what is one piece of advice that you want to give to the tall girls listening who are struggling with their self-confidence and their self-esteem because of their height?
Totally. I think it really goes back to what we were talking about. Find that community, find those people that understand where you've come from and your struggle, because they're able to see the positives of being tall and where, where your blessings come, I guess. Um, because otherwise, if you're not able to find that those other people that have that shared experiences, it can be very isolating, like
Difficult.
you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Really isolating, really difficult to sort of get out of your own head, right? I mean, sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. So finding that group that you can relate to, and I know it's hard. It's hard in these days to, find that group, but you know, your community on Instagram, for
Exactly.
example,
You got a
right?
Tall
Like
Girls podcast.
totally, like your following and the people that follow you, that listen to you. I mean, oh man, you should do an event. You should get these ladies together.
I mean, like
Oh,
2024, we
hey,
always got stuff going on, so we'll see.
yes.
We'll
Oh,
see.
ooh, sneak peek, sneak
But
peek.
thank you so, so much for that advice. And thank you so, so much for being here today. Please, can you tell us where to find you online, please?
Yes, you can find us at wearekorai.com or wearekorai.com, but wearekorai.com. And then all of our socials, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on all of them.
Oh, everywhere.
You can all of your local social media sites at wearkarai.com. So check us out. And like I said, you can find us on our website, and you can also find us on Tall Size as well. So yeah.
Yeah, everything is going to be linked in the description. And also, do you have a discount code for us?
We do. We do. So I wanted to do a discount code with y'all. So we're doing, like, I think tall girl 15
Tall Girl
for
15.
tall girl 15. So that should be live. So check us out.
Tall Girl
Tall Girl
15.
Podcast, Tall Girl 15.
All of the information is going to be in the description, so
Yes.
it's easy for everybody to check out. And I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself, of course. You can find me at a Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And feel free to hit me up and let me know what you thought of this episode. Do you have not a tall torso? What? A long
We can
torso?
do tall torso. Are you long? It's
Yeah,
like the terminology, long waisted, long
yeah.
torso. It's all right. It's all right.
Exactly. And did you know how to measure your torso? That's what I want to know. Please hit me up and let me know if you know how to measure your torso because I've never heard of that before. And thank you so, so, so much again, Kathryn, for being here and educating us on long torsos. You were amazing. You were awesome. And I absolutely love your brand. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, India. I appreciate it.
And I'm going
Love
to
it.
catch you guys in the next one. Good night and goodbye.